Hello, Scrapbooking Buddies. Today we're going to be making the Croptoberfest Paper Pack to Pretty Pages. We're going to be using the project recipe from Creative Memories, the Croptoberfest 2022, which comes with these really fun directions that you can make. But this is an alternative for you, a little bit simpler. So what you're going to be needing is you're going to need a tape runner. You're going to need foam squares if you like those, 12-inch trimmer and a ruler. And then we're going to start by taking two of the pieces of paper out. We're going to take the green leaves and the swirls, okay? So you can set the rest of this aside because we don't need it right now, okay? And we're going to go to page 3 and we're going to cut the green leaves. So it tells you to put it in the trimmer so that the leaves are vertical. So we're going to start it right here. We're going to flip our trimmer around and we're going to be doing 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 4, and this is all by 12s. So let's go ahead and start if you're working alongside me. If I go a little bit too fast, you can pause the video and then restart it. But our first cut is going to be at the 1-inch line. So we're going to do that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then we're going to go to the 2-inch line. So this is 2 by 12. 1 and 2. Okay, we should be left with a 4 by 12, and we are. Now we're going to do that one more time. We're going to be doing that with the squirrel paper here. Now, this is the squirrels where they're facing each other. You want to turn it so that they're vertical. And we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to put it at the 1-inch line. And second cut is still at the 1-inch line. Third cut is at the 1-inch line. One more time, 4 cut is at the 1-inch line. And then we're going to go to 2. Make sure your paper's nice and straight. Do 2 inches one more time. And we should be left with the 4 by 12, okay? So now we're gonna do our last cuts. And with this, we're gonna take the white and the navy cardstock that was in the kit. It's usually at the back, so we'll take the white and the navy cardstock, and we're going to cut them into 4 by 6s and 4 by 4s, okay? So let's go ahead and cut that. Do the white. So we'll do our 4-inch first. Then you bring your arm out. And you're going to do your 6-inch cut. Going to do that again. Put your 4 in at the 4-inch. And 6. And then the last one, this is 4. We're just going to make sure it's 4. Sometimes it's a smidge over 4. If you're an exact person and you see that's maybe 1/32 of an inch and you like it perfect, you'll want to double check that each time. And this time it's going to be 4 by 4 squares. Okay. What we do is we cut everything first and then we just put everything together. So we're taking our navy cardstock and putting it at the 4-inch. And then at the 6. We're making all of our mats ahead of time. I love 4 by 6 mats. It almost always fits all your pictures. So 6. And then the last strip, we're making 4 by 4 squares. Okay. So 4 and 4. Okay. So we can set our trimmer aside. Now we've got all of our strips and all of our mats here. We can just pile those up because we're going to be needing them in just a moment. And we got our long strips. And now we're ready to start putting it together. So we're going to go page 2 of the instructions. And the base papers are brown wood and the light blue paisley. So we'll find that in here. There's the brown wood and the light blue paisley. Okay. So I love using my mats because then I can just line it up super easy. If you're not using mats, you might want to grab a ruler because you're going to need, when we put the mats down, you need to make sure you got them straight. Okay, so usually we put the mats down second, but to begin with this one, we're going to put our mats down first. So we're going to use our 4x6 mats, and we're going to use white, blue, and white, and do the same thing on this side. Blue, white, and white up there. So we want to put these straight down the middle of the paper. So if you're using your mat, that's super easy because it's 3 inches here and 3 inches here. So if you're using a ruler, you're just going to want to use your ruler and go 3 inches over when you start putting those down. Now, I like to put my mats down with repositionable just in case I need to move them later when I actually go to put pictures on the page, but that's up to you what you like to use. I'm going to start it right here and go right above it. And place this one right above that. And this one right above that one. Okay, now we're going to come to this side. We're going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to be 3 inches from both edges. Okay, so if you're using your mat, it's going between the 3 and the 9. Four by 6 mats are great because usually you can trim off a little corner of a top or a bottom of a photo and get them to fit perfectly on this 4x6 mat. Plus you get more mats out of a piece of paper. Okay, so we've got our mats down. Now we'll go back to our instructions. Then we're going to take our four of them. We're going to need 4 of those little strips that we just cut. So we're going to use red, 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 and red. And we're going to get some of those pretty green leaves. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we're going to start with the green leaves and we're going to put them right next to it. Now you're going to want to make sure that if you're like these leaves are facing upward, I would probably want to do all 4 of them the same. If you want them facing downward, that's fine too. But we're going to start over here with this one. And we're just going to adhere that right next to this. Take it all the way up, give it a nice straight line, and then do your red, your cranberry color right next to it. Now, when I'm putting them down, if you like the reverse side better, go ahead and switch it. It's okay. This is your creation. So if you like it you like the squirrel side, put the squirrel side up. Or if you like the plaid side, you put the plaid side up. Okay. And let's put this last one on here. Okay, put it right next to that. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side. You're going to put your green leaf ones the closest to your mats. Okay, and then your red one. Just like that. And your last 2, which is your green leaf. Once again, you want to make sure that leaves are all going the right direction. You don't want them going the wrong direction. And your red one. Then we are going to go grab our stickers from the kit. And we are going to, let's make sure we've done everything on here. We've adhered to everything. So now we're going to pull off these beautiful long 12-inch strips. And they're just going to go on the outer edges of both of these pages, okay? So I kind of centered them, which is kind of nice. If you're using this, you're putting the point right at the 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the top so that it's making sure it's straight. Just super easy. I love working on 2 mats. If you haven't tried it, I really recommend it because I actually have these taped together with some duct tape on the back so they don't move. And they're always together for me. Okay, so now we're ready to put some of our embellishments on. So we're going to start over here. We're going to do, and I love using foam squares. Now, if you don't want to use foam squares, that's totally acceptable. But if you do, this is where I would want to use it. So I kind of use these leaves right here. And I came over here right in this space right here and put that there. And then I used the sticker Laugh More, Worry Less. And this is where I use some foam squares. I just wanted to pop it up just a smidge. But if you don't want to, totally get that. I'm just gonna, and I love using these little ones because I feel like I use the big ones a lot. So it kind of gives me a good excuse to use the little ones too. So let's go ahead and do that. And I put that in about right there. And then came back and put a couple of the acorns. I threw one underneath here like this, and a green one. I threw a couple of foam squares on it just to pop it up a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna bring that down here like that. And I threw a couple of the tiny little butterflies in up here. Got a little brown one and a little red one. Okay, so we got our first sticker cluster done. Now we're ready to move over here. We're going to use the squirrel down here. We've got this little blue squirrel. So we're going to bring him in right here. Let's take his little tail out so we see it more. Okay, so we're going to bring him in right here. And we're going to need to have him hold one of the nuts. So, and I kind of wanted to use the foam squares on the nut, so it looks like it stands out just a little bit. So I put that right in his hand. So if it goes over the picture a little bit, I've got the foam square there. The picture's still going to be able to slide underneath there. So you're going to be all good. And then up here at the top, I put the Follow Your Soul, It Knows the Way. Up here in this little space right here. Then I put the big butterfly, kind of a moth actually, and the smaller one. I did pop the smaller one up. Once again, if you're following along with me and you need to pause it for a second, go ahead and pause it and catch up. But we are done with our first 2 pages. Yay! Okay, so we're moving on to the last 2 pages. So what you're going to need is should be 2 pieces of paper left. You should have this beautiful cranberry one and the one with the plaid. So go ahead and put those on your mats. Okay. And then let's go back to our directions so we don't forget anything. And it says take the 2x12 squirrel strips and adhere them 1/2 inch from the bottom of page 3. And then we're going to do 1/2 inch from the top of page 4. So let's grab our strips again. And you're using the 2-inch ones this time. Okay, so they look like this. And we are going to put them, make sure that the little squirrels are going the right direction. I don't want to put them upside down. It's going to go 1/2 inch here. And it's, once again, easy to do if we're using our mats. We can see the 1/2 inch from the top like that. Okay, so once you get it where you want it, go ahead and put some adhesive on that and stick that down. And let's just make sure our paper got moved a little bit. Let's make sure it's straight in there. And we're putting it at the 1/2 inch from the bottom. So you're just lining it up on both sides there. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, and 1/2 inch at the top. Okay, so now we're going to take the 4x3 green leaf strip and flip it over. So we're going to grab that from our pile and we are going to flip it over to this side right here. And then we're going to flip it over and adhere to the outer edge. So we're going to push that all the way to the outer edge, okay? So go ahead and adhere that. That's the green leaf side that we flipped over. Okay, all the way to the outer edge of page 3. And then we're going to take the squirrel strip We're going to flip that one over and we're going to adhere to the outer edge of page 4. So once again, you're putting your adhesive on the squirrel side and then bring it over here. I kind of like to bring this color, this side over here and this side over here. It just ties the 2 pages together. Okay. Now you should have 2 strips left, and we're going to be putting those down here. We're going to take the 2 by 12 green leaf strips and adhere to the center of both of these. So once again, that's going to be super easy to find if we're using our mats. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere that. And if you're using a ruler, you're just going to want to measure and find, it's going to, because this is a 3-inch strip, you're going to measure over 1 inch. Okay. And once again, 1 inch on this side. Okay, so now we are ready to start putting our mats down on these 2 pages. So grab your mats next, and we're going to start with page 3, and we are going to use the 4 by 4 ones, and we're just going to use 2 of each, like so, and then just kind of keep it the same distance all the way around so you get a nice straight line. Kind of decide how you want it. Now over here, we're going to use our last 2 4 by 6s, and they're going to go here. Then we're going to use our 4 by 4s over here. And about like that. Okay, so once you get them the way you want them, go ahead and adhere those, and then we'll be ready for our sticker clusters, and we will be done. This paper is just beautiful. Creative Memories did a great job this year. I absolutely love this project recipe kit. I've made a few cards with it. I have made some borders. It's just really fun. And I love the theme, Let's Go Nuts. That's fun too. And if you haven't registered for Croptoberfest, you can still do that. I still have a few openings for mine. I'm sure your advisor would have one for hers too. You can always go to the Creative Memories website also, and all the Croptoberfests are listed, and you can find one that you can attend. Okay, we are almost done with our mats. And I'm gonna put this here. And this here. Once again, if you want to put your mats down with repo, it's always good, because if you needed to change the direction of this later, you would still be able to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and put our stickers down, and we're almost done. Okay, so down here I put pretty much right in the center the little wood strip, and then I took these flowers that were all the way around those, and I went ahead and put them around that again, almost touching, just so that they go all the way around. And I kind of just put them on there the same way they were on the design. Just like that. And then I put Forever is Now Composed of Nows. And I did put a few foam squares on that just to pop it a little bit. Okay. We are almost done. And there we go. And then over here, I put a few of the little mushrooms. I did pop the mushrooms up too with the little tiny foam squares. Okay, and I'm going to even throw one down here. Once again, if you're going to have it overlap your picture, you're going to want to make sure you leave that open there so that you can slide your picture underneath. And then our last one, we've got a little cluster up here, and I used our last little bunch of leaves, kind of right in there. I used Just Breathe, which is always good to remember. I hope you're enjoying this. If you are, make sure you like it. You can also subscribe to the page, and that way you don't miss any of the fun videos or tips that I have. And let me know what you think. because I always like to know what people are thinking out there. So on the last couple stickers, I used the little butterflies. And we are done. There you go. 4 pages done in 20 minutes or so. Hope you enjoyed this. Like it and comment, and happy scrapbooking.